Greetings humanity, the following message is a difficult message for I and your world governments to transcribe, but it is a necessary one. We have reason to believe that a cabal of extraterrestrial and extra-dimensional entities are on track to meet with Earth. And based on our knowledge of these beings, they do not have our best interests in mind. I am uncertain whether or not the following information will be useful in youth survival, but it is the only shot we can take. Now presenting the top 10 most dangerous interdimensional entities by the Sussy Sigma Company. Number 10, Exocolotl of Grievance. Exocolotl isn't foreign to Earth. He is said to have been developed by the Egyptian government in the capital of Cairo to unite North Africa under the one Egyptian nation. Once Exocolotl had fulfilled its purpose, they decided to launch it into space on a collision course with a wormhole. In the eyes of the president, Exocolotl was a weapon on par with the Russians' Tsar bomber. It was a weapon too dangerous to have on Earth and be used against them. There is only one issue: unlike a bomb, Exocolotl is a sentient creature. Even though it was domesticated like a dog by Egypt, Exocolotl's presence in the cabal has proven that it no longer harbors a loyalty to its master, nor humanity. Number 9, Solomon. Solomon is a perversion of the earthly elephant. Solomon is believed to have been a war animal used by an alien nation that mirrored the Roman Empire. In the fall of this alien empire, these war animals migrated. Some found peace, but others kept falling deeper down the spiral of war and bloodshed. Solomon is the most powerful of his breed. Reports state that on one of his galactic campaigns he came across a volatile asteroid field, but the calamitous rocks didn't friction him at all. Using his trunk, he reduced the rocks to rubble. He converted debris into a weapon and launched it in a gust of titanic force. When Solomon stepped foot upon the surface of the planet he was campaigning against, all life was torn to shreds by the rain of rock. This is only one of many feats of terror Solomon has engaged in across the galaxy, and his next target seems to be our solar system. Number 8, Wily Smiley. Wily Smiley has the expressed motivation of providing joy for beings that have achieved sentience squared. That doesn't include us. Humanity only has typical sentience. And because of that we are nothing but ants in the eyes of this creature. Out of the 10 drones I sent to monitor these creatures on their journey to collect the data in this report, only 7 came back. Wily Smiley destroyed its drone immediately after noticing it. Its reasoning being the same as when we swat a fly. The way Wily Smiley enacts destruction upon its inferiors is through a heat it emits at will. So just like a child with a magnifying glass launching rays of sunlight upon an ant hill, Wily Smiley will melt humanity and walk away with glee. It didn't kill anything sentient after all. Number 7, Pearlescentasia. By all definitions of the word, this alien is a masochistic. Its tattered body is the result of its countless murders. It is said that its race was made as a peacemaker unit for the planet Forkel. And in its genetic code it is stated that every time it delivers lethal force, its body will break down and degrade. But unlike its contemporaries, Pearlescentasia enjoys the feeling of its body's destruction. It will kill and kill until it reaches the brink of death, a death that will produce incomprehensible euphoria. And for it, euphoria will be very joyous indeed. Number 6, the Administrator. The Administrator is the closest thing to a commander for the cabal. A spherical monstrosity which has 4 blunt tentacles built for slaughter. However, these tentacles aren't truly hammers, it's what lays beneath which is the true danger. When my drone met the Administrator, one of its tentacles opened up like a blossoming sunflower. But in place of the radiant yellow and sweet scent, the insides of the tentacle was coated in the wreckage and manure of countless bodies and ships. The Administrator acts to keep the cabal in check, but he doesn't seem to act purely of his own will. The Administrator is a servant for a grander master. Number 5, Oyster of Obliteration. In contrast to its given title, Oyster of Obliteration isn't acting for the goal of destruction. It wants to create new life. In my drone's report it spoke of how it is the peak of evolution for the crustacean gene. However, after a series of disasters that hit its universe of origin, all crustaceans were wiped out. He could pass down his genes to no one. As extinction stared it down, however, it defied fate. It left its universe to find a similar breed of crustacean that he could continue his evolutionary line with. And after years of searching, reckoning to planets with the oysters he uses like missiles, found Earth, the only planet he sees fit to bear the future members of his line. All he has to do first, is purify the planet of lesser beings. Of, as he put it, apikind number 4, Thanos mug. H.P. Lovecraft once described one of the figures of his mythos, as Athoth, as the blind idiot god. That definition also applies to Thanos mug. Thanos mug is a weapon with no origin, no purpose, it is the embodiment of nihilism for nihilism's sake. It is fitting that one of the beings that will conclude Earth's history is a being with no bias, no humanity, no ideology, just a pure chaotic entity. Just like the character it shares its likeness with, it seeks to make things balanced, as things should be. But instead of halving life, it will take all. Number 3, Tarasquetial. Tarasquetial is a female identifying hivemond contained within a metal suit. The suit used to be a combat unit for a warrior race called Shallowers. But in her own words she conquered it alongside that vermin race. Tarasquetial isn't a figure of complex motive, she wants to spread her mass and eventually find a planet to cultivate the perfect society. The suit is merely a means to an end, the figure controlling it is a corpse. An insult to her true utopian form. The land of the Shallowers was too primal, the resources too isolated to be bent to her will. Humanity on the other hand, they had completed the work, harvested the oil, packaged the meat, forged the steel. Now it's Tarasquetial's right for the taking. Number 2. Dominance monger. This being is a heathen through and through. A bipedal animal that has torn its way through the galaxy with its elongated and sharpened arm and a coarse skin covered in the degraded armor of its victims. Just like Thanos mug, it is an idiot god, a degenerate being with no purpose outside of spreading its torment and desire to purge. But it isn't blind to these facts. Dominance monger's perversion is purely in nature, nothing has nurtured it into the destructive form it currently takes. Dominance monger exists in a pure state of contentment, a contentment fueled by drinking the blood of his foes. And its thirst for contentment has not yet been quelled, and it won't be quelled by Earth either. Number 1, Bastion of Eden. When I sent my drone to collect data on Eden, it was annihilated immediately. It didn't even do anything physically, its being there caused the drone to implode. Even though I didn't get any definitive data on this being, its nature clicked together in my mind with this action of inaction. Bastion of Eden is the enabler of this event, it formed the Cabal, and it is why nothing has been done up to this point. Eden has the power to bend things to its will. The nature of these entities conflict fully, some want to eradicate humanity whereas others want to make it their oyster. The only way their cohesion can happen is through manufactured means, the means of Eden. And it also bent humanity too. There is a reason why this information is being released now. Humanity has been kept in the dark for so long that when it will be exposed to the light of Eden, it will still be too blind to counter its force. You probably won't hear this ending. I know as soon as I hit the broadcast button I will be put down by either the fate I've predicted or those who still deny it. All I can say is that I wish hope to all of you. At the end of the world,